Hey there, it's John with you again. It's Saturday, October 14th, 2023, and this is a walk-around demo of a 1962 Honda CB77 Superhawk that I've just finished restoring, and it's going to be up for sale on Bring a Trailer very soon. So I wanted to kind of go around and just explain some of the unique features. Being a 62, it's different than even a 63. There's a bunch of differences right off the bat, but first I'll just explain, this is about the 8th Superhawk and about the 26th Honda twin that I've restored. I do 160s and Superhawks and 350s and 450s probably since in the last 7 years. I have done 26 of them, and this is the 8th Superhawk. But again, it's the oldest Honda I've ever owned and never worked on, and it's got some fun little differences. But like all my restorations, the engine's taken fully apart and inspected. Any worn parts that are too worn are replaced either with new old stock or a much better condition used part. In this case, I believe the engine was bored to maybe second oversize, I think it was, to make it like basically a brand new engine. It's fully fresh. You got a new cam chain in there. And she runs like a top. All the steel parts, the frame and the gas tank and fenders are all sandblasted down to bare metal. And then if there's any cracks or extra holes that shouldn't be there, those are welded back up. And then body filler, minimal body filler, is used as needed to smooth everything out. And then we use House of Color high build primer, KD3000 it's called, to get everything perfectly smooth to about 400 grit scratches. On the metallic fenders and side covers, we go to 600 grit before we would put on the base coat. The red is it's a single stage from PPG. It's a very nice match for Honda's Scarlet Red. The silver is Honda's. It's PPG also, but it's mixed up. It's Honda North America Cloud Silver, which is the correct color. It's a metallic, but it's not, it's not crazy sparkly metallic. It's just it's a really nice metallic. So and then let's see, everything else, new chain, all new rubber parts. The kick the kick rubber and the footrest rubbers, and this little boot over the rear brake switch. The mufflers are new reproduction. The header pipes are original header pipes that have been re-chromed. Most all the chrome on the bike that you'll see has been re-chromed. The lower parts of the shock, the kickstart lever, the rear brake lever, these exhaust pipes here, the fork seal holders, the fork trim rings, the headlight trim ring, all got re-chromed. This front brake stay, the front brake arms were re-chromed. The shift lever parts were re-chromed. The rear brake arms re-chromed. And again, the other shock cover. The panels on the gas tank, of course, got re-chromed. We've got some, there's a guy named Pops Honda on eBay that makes some really amazing reproductions of some of the original nuts and bolts, that are chromed and the right sizes. But for the most part, I do reuse all of the nuts and bolts. I vapor blast them to get rid of any rust. I sand them smooth if need be, and then I zinc plate them again. So in most cases, all the nuts and bolts were original to the bike. On the engine, we've got these screws, the case screws, those are all new. And it's got the correct mirrors. The speedometer, there's a gentleman in England that makes these beautiful, everything's perfectly correct. These faces for the speedometer. So the speedometer was taken apart and lubricated and make sure everything was working. I think and then this new face was put on, and it's just beautiful. Makes it look brand new. So tires, the tires are the correct sizes and tread pattern. So we've got a ribbed 275 by 18 up front, and on the back there's a 30 by 18 with a block tread pattern. The rims are, you know, they're new rims, and the spokes are new stainless steel spokes. So let's see. Let's talk a little bit about some of the differences being the 62. So one of the obvious ones is on this this badge, which is a reproduction badge, but it says Dream 300. The later, you know, in 63 they got rid of the Dream and it just says 300. So down here on the front brake linkage here, these arms are held on with self-locking nuts, whereas in later ones there's kind of a spline and a clevis and an extra 6mm bolt that goes in and clamps the arm onto this splined clevis that comes out of the brake hub there. Let's see, under the it's really hard to see, but the steering damper parts are kind of different. It's perfectly round, and the later ones there's this sort of a little triangular point piece that comes out. But anyway, that's, you know, it's just completely round and doesn't have that little pointy piece sticking off to one side. Actually, inside the forks you can't really see, but the fork tubes are fatter up here, and then they get skinny again down to the 33. So I think there's like 35, and then they get skinny down to 33. So this bottom triple tree is different for 62 because it's got a 35mm opening for the fork tube to go in, and then the later models would have had a 33mm opening. So let's see, what else? This engine, the oil filter cover is blank. The later models it says Honda. And then on the rear here we've got, so this swing arm is what's called a lugged swing arm. You've got this cast piece that's sort of welded onto just the tubular pieces. You know, in later versions, you know, this is all just smooth. They went to a much simpler arrangement with just fewer parts or just less mass, you know. But again, we also see the self-locking nuts holding on the brake actuating arms, and what's called the hollow axle is these early, you know, the early 62s and later models. This is all closed in. You know, it's a big solid axe piece. Also, it's really subtle, but the very bottom casting of this shock clevis is different. It's got this sort of little peaked line here, whereas it's just much smoother. It's sculpted here on the 62, where it isn't on these later ones, the 63 and later. Another interesting difference is the so-called stubby taillight. You know, the taillight in 63 would probably come out to here. It's just a little, it's almost twice as deep as this one. So but everything, you know, then you know, you got the mud flap is here. You've got Honda, you know, beautifully recovered seat with the chrome trim and a strap with buckles and Honda logo on the back. Let's see, you know, all the cables are new, air cleaners are new, plug caps, you know, plug wires are new, chain is new, tubes, rim strips, everything that makes it a running and driving safe to ride bike. The headlight, you know, all that works. There's a whole separate video that talks about the electrical, you know, shows all the electrical features. So let's go ahead and start her up. She's cold, you know, right now. So we're gonna go ahead. You know, here's the petcock. It's on off. We'll turn it to reserve because I don't think there's a whole lot of fuel in the tank right now. And then here's our ignition switch. We'll turn that to on, and we'll press the electric starter.